Hi, this is Sensei James Leonelli from Sensei's Weekly Mindset, and I'm here to talk to you about betonline.net. Betonline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball, soccer, and esports. Don't forget my personal favorite, MMA. We've got it all on betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, we can help you find those on BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. And don't forget BetOnline for NHL, boxing, golf, and like I said, my personal favorite, the sport of MMA. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Life isn't always easy, and you don't have to face it alone. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you have access to a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of needs. To get started, you simply answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's most convenient for you. The best part is, if your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price, all from the comfort at home. To start your journey and to get 10% off of your first month, go to betterhelp.com/sensei. That's better, HELP.com/sensei. BetterHelp, you deserve to be happy. Hi guys, Sensei James Leonelli here to talk to you about another one of our sponsors, LMNT. An electrolyte drink mix. Each one of these little packets gives you exactly what you need to keep you as hydrated as all us athletes like to be. If you're like me, you work out a lot, and when you work out a lot, you also sweat a lot. Now, when we sweat, we don't lose just water, of course. We also sweat out salt. We sweat out electrolytes. So each one of these packets contains 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, giving you everything that you need in order to maintain optimal hydration and nothing that you don't. So to go online, place an order for your sample pack, and to get yourself a bonus free sample pack, you're going to go to this website right here, elementallabs.refr.cc/James Leonelli. You're going to see this down in the video below, but I'll say it one more time for you. elementallabs.refr.cc/James Leonelli. Again, it's a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing that you don't. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Sensei's Weekly Mindset. I'm Sensei James Leonelli, owner and head instructor of Tiger Schulman's here in Smithtown. Once again, I am back in my home recording space, ready to give you guys this week's food for thought. As we do, you can see I'm wearing a little more of the Everyday We Train line. I love this jiu-jitsu shirt. I have two of them, actually. Absolutely love it. Think it's a great shirt. The entire line is spectacular. You can check it out. You can check it all out on tiegear.com. While you're doing that, make sure you guys leave a rate and review. Just helps. Make sure you guys have clicked that subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, the little notification bell, click that as well so you can get notified as soon as new episodes drop. I love it when I see comments from you guys in the episodes. I love it when I see rates and reviews. But most importantly, I love it when I see you guys share the podcast. So thank you very much for doing that. Before I get into today's topic, just dropped, ironically, right after the last episode of the show, is a collaboration I've been working on with Natty Combat Apparel. Many of you guys remember John Matos, who we spoke to a few months ago on the show. And John, good friend of mine, and we knew this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and breast cancer is something that has touched my family pretty significantly. And we have a tremendous amount of breast cancer in this country. 1 in 8 women will be affected by breast cancer in their lives. And here on Long Island, the numbers are much larger, and we don't really know why. But what we do know is that there are some places that are absolutely leading the fight against breast cancer. And one of them is the Fortunato Breast Center at Mather Hospital. They provide spectacular care, holistic, not just in terms of treating the cancer itself, but support groups and access to other programs, to really even access to mental health care for their patients who are going through this. Because as described by one of the staff members there, when a person is living through breast cancer, they are living through the kind of things that give someone PTSD. So not only do they do phenomenal treatment on the cancer itself, but they do phenomenal treatment on the person as a whole. So this Breast Cancer Awareness Month, myself and Natty Comet Apparel came together with this collaboration. It's a beautiful shirt. It's inspired by a member of the Flex family who went through breast cancer and came out positively on the other side. So it's their favorite color. The design's a little inspired by my grandmother. My grandmother always was, not that she was a big like Rosie the Riveter fan, but like so many of the images of her as a young woman reminded me of Rosie the Riveter. So it's where the image is inspired from. But all the proceeds from the shirt will be donated to the Fortunato Breast Center. So you're going to go to nattyapparelco.com, and you're going to, from there, be able to get yourself that shirt. Again, all the proceeds go to the charity. I very much appreciate it if you guys get one. I want to make a huge donation to this place because they do right by all of Long Island. I'm going to put the link in my link tree as well, so you guys have it there. Please make sure you guys don't hesitate to get one. I know several people have ordered already, and the shirt only went live a couple of days ago. So I'm really excited to see how many we can sell. Last year, Natty was not as successful with their breast cancer shirt, and I want to make sure that they're very successful this year because it's going to a really worthwhile cause. At any rate, to get into this week's mindset, cool thing that my wife and I did last night. Her company is a medium-sized company here on Long Island, not super large, not super small, but they do some cool employee care things, and fairly frequently, like once a month or so, they'll raffle off tickets of some kind, sometimes to like sporting events, sometimes to like concerts, and other such things like that. A couple of years ago, we got tickets to a Yankees game, which was cool. I hadn't been to the new Yankee Stadium yet, so that was a cool experience. We were only a few rows back in right field, right behind Aaron Judge, so that was a really cool experience. And just last week, I was headed, I forget where I was headed, I'll be honest. I was driving somewhere, and I was having a super busy day, and I was aggravated. I was one of those days where just a million things are going wrong, and I can't seem to get my act together. And she calls me. I'm already frustrated. I'm like, I had like just left her company or like just got on the phone with her too. So I was like, let me have a chance to execute the thing we just talked about. And she's like, so next Monday is your Monday off, right? I said, yeah. She goes, good, because we're going to the Jelly Roll concert. I said, what? She won tickets to see singer Jelly Roll at the UBS Arena out by the Belmont Raceway. Again, a place we'd never been before too, which is, again, a very cool experience to see this beautiful venue. And to see Jelly Roll in concert. We saw him a year or two ago. He was collaborating with Shinedown, which was a really, really cool concert. And they did the song Simple Man by Leonard Skinner together, which is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite songs to begin with. And I didn't know that was something I needed to see in my life, but I needed to see that because, wow, it was incredible. And Jelly Roll has slowly, not slowly, I'd say pretty explosively become a real name in the music world. And really, as much as it's what he's done in the music world, it's also the stuff he's done outside of it. So let's start just by talking about who Jelly Roll is a little bit. So Jelly Roll is Jason Bradley DeFord. He's about 40 years old or so. And he's got some really, to describe his song style, wouldn't be to do it justice. He's my wife described him as like country rap, which is probably the best thing. But he also had a rock single that charted and did really, really well. Just all in everything he does. Every song he makes is, when you listen to the lyrics, is deep and insightful and got some really powerful messages behind it. So he was born in Nashville, Tennessee. His father was a salesman and worked as a bookie on the side. And his mother suffered from mental illness and addiction. And those were the things that really affected Jelly Roll's life. In his teenage years and into his early 20s, he got in trouble with the law a bunch of times, arrested several times, spent some time in jail for charges, felonies, things like possession with intent to distribute, aggravated robbery, all sorts of stuff. But more importantly, this allowed him kind of the moment to straighten his life out a little bit. He earned his GED while imprisoned at the age of 23. And not long after, really kind of went to work in terms of trying to better himself and his life. And so he became active in the music scene in like 2003, but really didn't do too much there. And then in the 20 teens and the early 2020s, he started to break out onto the bigger scene. Grand Ole Opry is a big thing in country music. He debuted there in November of 21. And he started to drop some of his bigger songs. The first being his rock song, Dead Man Walking, which you've probably heard. And then his number one country radio song, written by himself and a couple other people, called Son of a Sinner, which is one of the most beautiful, powerful songs I've ever heard in my life. And it earned all sorts of awards. It peaked number 8 on the Billboard Hot Rock and Alternative charts. He made history in February 23 with 25 weeks at number one on the Emerging Artist charts. Sold out some huge arenas along that time. At the 2023 CMT Awards, he won for Male Video of the Year, Breakthrough Video of the Year, and Digital First Performance of the Year, all for Son of a Sinner. If you guys have not heard this song, I highly suggest you go and listen to this song. It'll be stuck in your head for days. You'll play it endlessly, and it's good because it's a great song. And then released his next album in June of 23. From there, at the National Country Music Association Awards, he won New Artist of the Year in November of 23. But this is where he starts to step out into the world, into bigger places. In January of 24, he testified in front of the United States Congress in support of anti-fentanyl legislation. And he's explaining his perspective because he was a former drug dealer. And he stated that the U.S. Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, he goes, I was part of the problem. I am here now standing as a man that wants to be part of the solution. He talks about all the horrible things that have happened from fentanyl. And again, if you can find that speech, that's another thing to watch on YouTube. Him talking, Jelly Roll talking to the U.S. Congress. It's beautiful and it's powerful, and it really speaks to the heart and soul of this man quite a bit. In July of 24, he was featured on Eminem's 12th album, The Death of Slim Shady, on the track Somebody Save Me, which sampled his song Save Me. He appeared in the music video. In July, he was made his first international appearance in Canada. On the 23rd of August, he announced another album is dropping in just a couple of days now, October the 11th, called Beautifully Broken. He was featured on the 50th season of Saturday Night Live, among a great many other things. One of his songs called I Am Not Okay, which is another big single of his just recently, was in a show called Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. Jelly Roll also was featured in the episode. But again, what a beautiful song that is. And in winning one of his awards, it's got to be one of the Country Music Association awards. I believe it's the one for New Artist of the Year. He delivers this beautiful, powerful speech about where he was in his life and how horrible things had gone for him and how horrible his life had gone, and how he was, a victim of not only his mother's addiction but his own addiction. How he was feeding the addiction machine by being a drug dealer himself, and that he's gone from there, running from the law, and trying to just survive, to now being able to raise his 2 children, and on top of that, to to like really be able to make a future for them. Like we were in this new UBS arena last night, and it was, when I say packed, I'm not doing it justice. Like they said 15,000. At one point they said 15,000 people. I want to hear your chanting, or your hands in the air or something. And I think that's a conservative estimate, 15,000. Like, I know how much we get at the Stereo Garden in Patchogue, and like I looked around, and there were not very many empty seats, and it like packed to the rafters, packed. And like he's singing, the crowd singing along with him. Everybody there knew his songs, which was beautiful, including some of the more powerful ones like "Save Me," or some of the other ones, Sober, Life of the Party, which is some other just phenomenal songs that he has. Again, I can't recommend his music enough. And he kept referring to it as like, this is a therapy session. This is a family reunion. We're like, we're one big family. We're all here to come through our traumas together and this and that. And he was talking about, as he was leading into one of his songs, and I'm sorry, I'm just getting choked up thinking about it. Leading into one of his songs, and he sees this sign in the crowd, and it's a young lady who is holding a sign with pictures of a deceased loved one, and it says on it, she was the life of the party, and I can only imagine that person passed, probably from addiction. The song is entitled "She," and he talks about how many people he knows who have been the life of the party, and who wound up on the wrong side of addiction and everything like that. And he goes, I wrote this song for the people like that, and like like my own mother, and he said, and myself, and he goes, one thing I want you to know, and he gave this, I recorded him singing a couple of songs, which I was very happy with. I'm glad I did. But I wish I had recorded this motivational speech that he gave, because it was beautiful as he talked about how, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be this huge music star, with this national tour, touring with all these amazing artists throughout my life, like, with being featured on podcasts all over the place, on Theo Vaughn's podcast, on Fighter and the Kid, like very big, well-known podcasts, while also like selling out arenas all across the country. And he goes, I'm not supposed to be here. He goes, if it wasn't for what God and people around me did for me, I wouldn't be here. And he goes, no matter how things go, remember that, just like he was talking specifically about driving down from Buffalo, New York, where he had done a concert the night before. And he goes, on that long drive, I was just taken by the beauty of the New York countryside. He goes, I've never driven through New York before. And man, do you guys have some beautiful countryside and some beautiful things to see and all of that. And he goes, but I was taken by the leaves. He goes, it's that time of year where those beautiful autumn colors come. And, you get your oranges and your browns and so forth as those leaves fall. And he goes, but as those leaves fall, and as those leaves change and turn over, and new leaves come in their place, those are our traumas. Those are our difficult moments. Those are our challenges, our struggles. And I want you to realize that this is the season of change in your life. This is the season of improvement. This is the season of getting better. He goes, because your challenges, they're going to change over just like those leaves. They're going to fall away just like those leaves. And you too can wind up in the better place. You too will wind up in the better place, because I promise you, no matter how bad it gets, it will get better. And no matter how dark it may seem, the light will shine again. And you will get through this. And this is the season that your improvement starts. And it was just such a beautiful speech and a beautiful moment as he reminded the crowd. He goes, listen, even if you don't believe in yourself, even if you feel like no one believes in you, I believe in you. which is so powerful and so cool. He's holding his audience in the palm of his hand, and he's talking to people about how this too shall pass. You'll make it. You've made it through 100% of your hard days up till now, and this hard day won't be the one that gets you. You have many more hard days ahead of you. That's okay, because what's going to happen is those traumas will change just like the leaves, and you'll be able to get past them just like those leaves get past as well. And it was this beautiful moment reminding everyone that there is no challenge too great. There is nothing too big that you cannot handle. And it's funny because it kind of brings me full circle back to talking about the shirts for breast cancer. And you'd think this month being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I'm sure, especially if you're a listener on Long Island, your life has in some way been touched by breast cancer. You have someone in your life who lived through breast cancer. Or maybe they didn't. But one thing is for sure. They gave it the most fighting chance. And they showed us a strength that at the time they didn't even know they had. And, in talking to the people that were involved in the making of this shirt for Natty and for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we talked to the person who we all knew who was affected by breast cancer. And she told us some stories. And, there was a couple hashtags kicked around that were going to be on the shirt. And one of her suggestions was, "You're so much stronger than you know." And it was so beautiful because I think of what that woman has been through. I think of the struggles that she has encountered. And I think of how hard her struggles were through breast cancer. But she's through it. She is. It is now a part of her past, not a part of her present, and God willing, never a part of her future. And she talked to me a couple of times throughout her treatment, and she's part of the support group that, honestly, that Fortunato Center puts on. And she was talking about how they did this little card game in the support group, and on the card game, everybody took a card, and there was a word on it, and this word somehow had to do with your journey through breast cancer. And the word that she got was strong. And she's like, honestly, I hate this word right now. I hate it because everybody comments on how strong I'm being, on how strong I am. She goes, but I don't have a choice. And I had to remind her that, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And not just in like the mortality kind of way, not in the lay down and die kind of way. But you could take these moments and you could, for lack of a better word, lay down and die. You could let cancer turn you into a miserable person. Even if you beat it, you could let it change who you are. But she didn't. Many people, aside from some of her trusted confidants, didn't even know that she was battling what she was. And now that she's on the other side, they're finding out. And so many of them will be like, if I didn't know, I would never know. Because she was strong enough to put on her brave face for the world, to keep going forward, no matter how difficult it got. And that's the thing. Maybe if I can leave you with nothing else today, let me leave you with that thought as Slade comes into his co-host duties. The thought I want to leave you with is this. Those traumas, they will change like the leaves. Those challenges you're going through, you'll get through them. And it might not seem it, because things are always darkest before the dawn. But just like that person told me, you're stronger than you realize. And you'll have no idea what you can make it through until you make it through. And this is your season of improvement. This is your season of change. This is your season to get better. So that's all I have for you guys this week. As always, you can reach me via email, senseileonelli@gmail.com. Find me on Facebook, Sensei James Leonelli. On Twitter, Instagram, Sensei_Leonelli. Make sure you go on to your Spotify, your Pandora, your Tidal, YouTube Music, whatever you use, and you search up some Jelly Roll songs. Listen to those ones, Son of a Sinner, and listen to She. And realize that person had their struggles too, and how they wish they could have saved their friend, but know that you can save yourself. know that you can come out strong on the other side. Other than that, get that breast cancer awareness shirt at nattyapparel.co. I'll put the link in my link tree. Speaking of link tree, linktr.ee/Sensei Leonelli. Find my school online, tsmasmithtown.com. Facebook or facebook.com/TigerSchulmanSmithtown. Twitter and Instagram at TSMMA_Smithtown. More about the Tiger Schulman's organization as a whole, tsk.com. Listen to Find Sensei's Weekly Mindset on Instagram. Other than that, my friends, make sure you guys leave that rate and review I mentioned. Just helps. I love when I see you guys comment on the episode and stuff. Make sure you click the notification bell so you guys know when you guys are going to get those new episodes. Make sure you guys subscribe. Most importantly, though, guys, best thing you can do for me, share the podcast. There is no greater compliment. Other than that, my friends, until next time, invest in yourselves. I'll see you guys on the mat.